Hello, my name is Angela Denny, and today we're speaking with a professional who has been trained by the Institute for Family Professionals, known as IFP. So IFP is a program of Lakeside Educational Network, which provides ongoing training to family professionals who serve children and family systems in the greater Philadelphia region. And today's hangout was brought to you by Lakeside and the United Way of Greater Philadelphia and Southern New Jersey. So today we're speaking with Sister Mary. How are you, Sister Mary?
I'm very well, thank you, Angela. And yourself?
I'm great, thank you.
That's good.
So it's nice to have you with us today. Thanks for giving of your time. And we understand you have been part of IFP's training. So today we're asking you to share, well, first of all, who do you work for? And whoever you work for, what is their clientele? Like, who do you guys serve?
Okay. I work for Catholic Social Services. I've been working for them for the past 7 years, and I work primarily in South Philadelphia with the immigrant community, the Latino immigrant community. I'm working mostly with parenting and other courses that will help empower them in their daily lives and do a really good job with their children and with their own lives as well, in terms of maybe reparenting themselves. And all of the classes I've had so far are coming together as I continue my work here in South Philly.
Well, that's great. So I imagine that you would need some ESL training to talk to these communities?
I worked as a missionary in Guatemala for 6 years. I also learned Spanish down there. So I'm pretty fluent with the people, and I do a lot of my own, I do all my own translations.
Wow.
And sometimes run them by the people to check out if they make sense in terms of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty fluent.
Great. So, so we're here to talk about the impact of what you feel has been the training that you've gotten via IFP. So, Sister Mary, are there any specific things, like any specific concepts or principles or any kind of content that has specifically made a great impression on you?
Well, there's an awful lot that has made a great impression on me, but this evening I'll just focus on one, which is the iceberg analogy. That is taught in all of the IFP courses, and it's very fundamental. The IFP iceberg analogy is divided into 3 parts. The first part is the part above water, which represents only 4 to 6% of the actual iceberg. And in terms of human behaviors, it represents what you see, the outside, the outward behavior of the individual. Whereas below the water, you have 2 more levels that we focus on. The first level below the water would be emotional health, and it would have to do with self-respect, our emotions. It would have to do with our self-concept, self-awareness. And then the bottom layer would be the relational, which has to do with our trust, our ability to trust and our own trustworthiness, our sense of justice, love, fairness, and all of those pieces that go into relationships. And as I've been working with, I have taken 3 courses, Basic Principles, Essential Communications, and tonight we finish Enhancing Trauma Awareness. And there's such a connection between all 3 courses. So what I'm learning each time, I'm deepening my own understanding of the analogy with the iceberg and the importance of getting that to the people. When we focus only on the outward behavior, we're only touching the surface. We don't really know what motivates, what's pushing the people or the children to do what they do. So when we can go deeper and help the parents go deeper, or teachers, whatever the case may be, then we're having a better understanding of what's motivating the child and how we can redirect their energies or help them to know that they're heard and work with them and build stronger relationships with them. the strength of an iceberg depends on how strong the underwater levels are. And that's the very same for people. The strength of a person's personality, the strength of who they are, depends on the degree of emotional and relational health that they have. And to me, that is very important. These layers, the outward, the emotional, and the relational health, are all very closely connected. And to the extent that we work with them, they will help the people in all areas of their life. I was thinking about it that truly, if we could get people to understand these concepts, that we could create a whole world of love, true love. And there wouldn't be a need for institutions to treat mentally ill people, because you're getting at the root of what's causing the illness to begin with. So to me, it's very important to have a primary focus on not just the outward, but on the emotional and relational health.
Absolutely. So that iceberg analogy is very interesting that you made, as far as the bottom being, it's kind of like people themselves. The strength of a person is the bottom of who they are, and the down, the very initial parts of maybe who they are. So sister, can you speak on something specifically, or maybe specific impact of using that iceberg principle, or using something you learned in one of those 3 classes that you had taken? Is there something specific you could speak on?
There is actually. About 3 weeks ago, I was invited to visit with a family where the mother had already told the children that she was going to leave them, and she was going to divide up the children. She was taking the baby. The 2 older ones were going to their aunt, and the twins were going to their dad. And she was just going to walk out. And so I met with her, and I had the iceberg analogy with me. And, I talked to her a little bit about the ramifications of her decision, how it would impact the emotional and relational aspects of her children's lives, and would actually break up the family and cause a lot of hurt. And I asked her to consider what her alternatives were. And I said I would be back on the Monday. So I went back on the Monday. And on the Monday, I brought with me ACE's pyramid. And I actually have a copy of it here someplace, I think. And I used that as well to reinforce. And there was quite a similarity with that and the pyramid. And this is what I brought with me. And with that, I showed her again the adverse childhood experiences, and then how that will cause a deterioration in social and emotional and cognitive development with the children, and that the children could very possibly engage in high-risk behaviors. And then from there, you have a lot of illness that could come, and which could lead to an early death.
Yeah.
And we talked about the iceberg, and we talked about the pyramid. And then I met with the partner, and we talked about the possibility of doing some reconciliation there. And he was open to it, and so was she. When I went, oh no, I didn't meet him that day. I met him the 3rd day. The 3rd day I went, when I first went in, she told me, "I've done a lot of thinking based on what you told me," she said, "and I am going to stay."
Wow.
And I met with the partner, and we talked some more, and I'm going to continue to accompany them. I'm actually going to use the materials from the Essentials of Communication to help them, because communication is a big part of what happened, and also the being present to one another. And so I will be using that with them to continue to help them move toward a deeper reconciliation. And please, and I did advise them also to let the children know. They'd been told mom was leaving, and they didn't know when. So there was a great deal of insecurity and uncertainty around that. So having these tools enabled me to help that lady rethink her decision. She was leaving because she felt she had given her children very bad example and she couldn't ask them to listen to her. And we talked about that and how it doesn't matter what parents do, the children will always love you. And, you know, if you can show them that you're there for them, they will forgive you. And no matter what it is, you can have a totally different relationship with your children. So she was willing to risk it. And I thank IFP for giving me those skills that enabled that to happen.
That is awesome. Well, it's clear you have a real strong and clear understanding of those principles. And right there, for one family, you could have done so much to save the lives of those kids. Just and for the mother to understand the depth of her choice there, and the repercussions and the impact that she'd have on that choice. So thank you so much, Sister Mary, for sharing with us today. We certainly appreciate it. And it sounds like you had a lot of benefit from our training. So it's very great to have you.
Thank you. And I just want to say that the trainers are excellent. The program is so different from anything else I've ever done. There's such a concern about providing a safe environment. Everything they do is to make you feel safe and affirmed. There's truly the nurturing of the nurturer. And for that, I was very grateful. And not only that, the materials, the quality of the materials, the binder, the readings, excellent materials. And I would just encourage you to keep on developing. And if you can do it in Spanish, that would be great too. Because I do spend a lot of time translating the materials. Yeah. And I've just finished lesson 1 for the communications workshop. I figure I'll manage to get that in 9 sessions. But it is a lot of work trying to get it translated.
Yeah, I'm sure that is. Well, we'll have to put that on our to-do list. That's a great suggestion.
Yeah, and even maybe sometimes some of the books, if there's a Spanish edition of it, to have that available for someone who, like myself, could use it instead of having to translate it. It would be wonderful. Yep. But you really do a superb job.
Great ideas, and thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Well, so today, for more information regarding IFP, you can visit us at ifpros.net, and we encourage you to like us on our Facebook page at the Institute for Family Professionals. So our courses have 2 semesters, and we typically send out a schedule listing that includes course titles, days, and times of the courses. This listing is sent out the first business day in November and then again in May. So if you'd like to be put on our database to receive anything about these course schedules, please email me at adenny@lakesidelink.com. So we thank you once again for your interest in IFP. Thanks for being with us today. And this is Angela Denny signing off. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.